Welcome back to Automotive Science. I am your host, Professor Pudini.
Automotive science. It's science about automotive.
Today's subject, suspension springs. More specifically, air springs. What is an air spring? It's a spring that uses air. The first air spring was invented in 1901? Damn! Oklahoma. We didn't have airplanes in 1901. Oklahoma wasn't even a state. The first air spring was invented in 1901. In 1938, Firestone mass produces the air spring, and nearly 80 years later, they're still widely used today. Air springs come in many sizes with many different capabilities. They come in tiny, small, little bit bigger, thick, and damn! And though historically known for its use and role in the automotive industry, air springs can be used for all types of things, like our air jack here. Today we will attempt to install an air spring in the front suspension of this Loadstar. This will help distribute load, equalize ride height, and increase our hauling capacity. And most importantly, it'll keep the truck fully capable with a quality ride, as it is still slammed on its nuts. Now, according to my scientifically based hypothesis, we will be able to achieve this with some calculations, imagination, and fabrication. Sprinkle in a little I don't give a damn attitude, and we can pull this off. Let's get started, friends.
Automotive science. It's science about automotive.
Welcome back to puddins.fab.shop, where we have been building our Loadstar. And this go around, we're gonna make some final decisions, some progress, get some type of airbag or something on this front suspension.
Well, I hope that puddle oil didn't come from you.
Now here lately we've been building off-road machines, but this week we are back on our Loadstar. And if you recall, the last time when I was kind of sort of messing with it, we were trying to figure out the torsion bars. Will they work? Will they not work? I'd put one on the wrong side and it wouldn't work. Turns out when you put them on the right side, they do work. It's magic. And guys, I've been on this 50-50 debate of are we doing a full air ride or are we not? And I've made my decision. Drum roll, please. We are not doing air ride. Well, we kind of are, we're kind of not. You see, when I decided we were going to do a full air ride, I was kind of talked into it, and I was always just leaning towards not doing it. But then I got talked into it. So then I tried to just throw the torsion bars on, not really caring, because I'd made up my mind we were going to do air ride, which led to me not caring, so putting in the wrong ones and looking like an idiot. But the truth is, then when y'all pointed out I was an idiot and I threw the torsion bars in there, and you see how this thing is sitting, which let me know, which is absolutely perfect. It sits perfect. It's almost like our original plan of suspension did work out just the way it was intended. Well, if we're gonna do full custom air ride, we should have done it from the get-go. We should have planned that and just built our own chassis. We could air ride this stuff. We would have to rebuild the control arms. I would not keep those. The back would get really stupid because we do a lot of cutting out, and we could get the rear to drop additional 4 inches, but then it was gonna have like 11 inches of lift, but we'd only need 4 inches of that, because if you lifted that from there like additional 7 inches, it would look extremely stupid. The bars we're gonna have to run plumb up here for it to look half decent. I still would not like how that looked, and in the end, we would be doing another month or so worth of work for something that I truly would not be happy with. The way it's working out right now was the original plan, and I think that's exactly what we're gonna stick to, because the original plan is truly what I wanted. I just never really pictured this one as a full laid out thing. Now I know some of y'all's gonna hate that, and some of you's gonna love it, and some of you just plain don't give a damn. But for me, I gotta stick to my gut and build the truck that way I like it, that way it gets driven. It sure is hard to build something and not truly like it in the end. So last time working on it, we got the torsion bar slapped in. Now right here, it's probably sitting maybe a 1/2 inch too low. And as we add a floor, we add a front bumper, and we continue to get stuff hooked up and get additional weight on there, it may even continue to sag some. But that's fine because we have plenty of adjustability on our bolts still. They're not nowhere near tightened up like Max tightened it. And as of right now, she has no shocks, but that spring just feels like she's gonna ride like a stinking old Cadillac. She looks good, she'll ride good. She's within very, very close of where we want it to be. And I think I'm now gonna do something I've never seen done before. For the back of this thing, it seems like it's gonna ride quite nice as well. And in case we get a heavy load on there, we have helper bags. She starts getting overloaded, and we shoot a little air in the rear. The front ride's so soft, it got me thinking, what if I gain a couple 100 pounds? Or we get a heavy load on there and it's gonna transfer some weight to the front. So right here, we have a Firestone 9000 Ride Right sleeve bag. And my goal and hope, with that being a kind of tall, skinny unit, is we can find a way to put this on the front with the shock as well. And then we can also really fine tune in our rideability, our hauling, or whatever you wanna call it, our suspension on the front, helper bags on the front. Let's get this thing on jack stands where we can start figuring out how this is gonna work. Step 1, jack it up. Step 2, remove lug nuts, including these ones that you cross-threaded and plastic welded together. Do the classic stuff the rag in your socket trick. And you better go slow. Did you hear that? It's almost like sticky. And I'm pretty sure it's because it's moving so fast. Those threads, all of it being plastic, gets warm. And then it tries to melt together or booger up, or I don't know what it's doing. It just never turns out good, so let me continue to do it. Get the real ones off there. Prepare for kick. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh. I didn't even get a good kick in and that hurt. Boy, I can't kick them like I used to. Yeah. Quick rundown if you're new here. We are on like a 2008 Chevy chassis. She used to be 4-wheel drive, which is why we have the torsion bar. We deleted the 4-wheel drive, but we still have a torsion bar. DJM lowering control arms. I cut and extended them 4 inches. And heavily modified factory control arms. Uppers also to extend and correct camber, blah, blah, blah. That setup, at first I was like, man, I should have got 2-wheel drive. But, you know, if you had a coil or something in there, instead of a torsion bar, obviously there wouldn't necessarily be room for a sleeve bag. But thanks to our very unconventional setup, I am inspired to think something could happen here. Things to consider: shock mounts up there, lower shock mount right there. Up front we got a sway bar that currently appears to be in the way, and it looks like we may be able to remove that and go forward and clear a shock. Let's get a jack stand out here. Hey, caw, get your flying by booty on out of here. Theo, attack, get him. Hootie, you're supposed to scare off birds. You ain't doing nothing in here. Damn, Hootie needs a bath. So we want to put a jack stand out here and lower it down. That way we're putting all that weight out there, just like when we got a wheel on it. Coming down. Go! I want to rip that fender off so bad I can't stand it. Done that like 10 times. You can see we're almost sitting level here, because that did exactly what it was supposed to do. And that's going to get us a little more realistic to where we're sitting. Get our driver's side matching, and at quick glance, I think we just need to get that sway bar out of there. Easier to work a sway bar around our bags. In fact, with bags, we don't even need a sway bar. We can keep them on separate valves and keep just a little bit of pressure in each one, and that would act as a sway bar. You gotta be kidding me. Boy, I thought that looked like a 10mm. I just thought that there's no damn way they're holding a 1-ton chassis sway bar on with a 10mm, but they are. Hey, will you hold on to those? Don't lose them.
Don't lose them. No, we can't just lay here and cuddle. You're just an old junkyard doggy, huh? Love it over here in the shop, don't you? Give me my socket. 1, 2. Ow. Ow. That's the bad part of getting rusty bolts out of stuff. They stick in your socket. And then like there, I yanked that sucker out of there. Smack the back of my hand on this dang old grill. 3 and 4. Hey, shop manager. Can't let tools go outside. What if it rains? One good rain, we'll have rusty sockets, and that'll be on you. I just realized that 5 to 6 days a week, I talk to myself, I talk to a camera, and I talk to a dog. Don't judge me. All right, and I should have freed us up some room up in here, up in here, up in here. Dang, y'all see that hole right there for the sway bar end link? It almost looks like we could perk near just bolt that bag right to that. I don't think we can quite get far enough over because of our weld. So where I'd plated up that control arm. Well, I don't know. Wouldn't that be something? Let's go find a bolt. Takes a 3/8. Well, I probably ain't got one short enough. We'll get some shorter ones. Yeah, but for now we'll just do a washer stack. Classic washer stack. Very Puck County of us. Gotta stay true to your roots. Put your airbag in. Take your airbag out. Put your airbag in. Forgot that crap was thick. I may not need no washers. You ever seen someone cut the base of an airbag before? Well, you're about to. All right, we can't quite get there as suspected. But it may not be able to work right there. We've got a mocked up tie rod, as you see. Just cut the factory one. Obviously, that's not permanent, but our wheels are pretty straight right now. However, if we were to turn left or right, this is gonna go back. So that's something else we're gonna have to consider for. So next, we probably wanna figure out how far back or this tie rod's gonna go, because then we can figure out how far forward we can come. And unfortunately, with how I put these underneath here, it's not like we can just grab these things and spin them. Dang it. Good news is, looks like our shocks are here. Guard dog, watch him. Stroke, stroke, stroke. Woo! I pumped so hard I just pooped a flashlight, I think. That's max. And we can see if we were using that hole just as a reference of a center line, we would be plenty fine right there. And there. Take her all the other way. And same thing, we'd have plenty. In fact, off that center line, I think we could have went over this way right at a 1/2 inch if need be. I mean, that's lock to lock. It gets that close. We won't ever be going lock to lock hardly anyhow. And if you are going lock to lock, it's never in a crazy situation. It's like easing out of a parking lot or something. So, I mean, we can get that thing right up to this, because as you straighten your wheel out, of course, you increase your gappage there. So luckily, we didn't get a lot of crazy back and forth off our tie rods there. That's a good thing. Another good thing is, before I jack that up, I just kind of held this up. Ooh, she's a gas Magnum. I ain't used to working with the Magnum. I'm used to smaller weapons. Little 9mm. Pachoo, pachoo, pachoo. Dang, look at the hardware on this rig. You can tell it's for the bigger stuff. A little bit thicker washer. On all the little small stuff I mess with, you don't get no 1/8 inch thick washers. Let's go ahead and slip this in. Slip that on it. Slid right in. I think we're on to something borderline genius here. I'll tell you what would be genius is having more of a hardware selection. I don't even have 1/2 inch bolt we can put in there. What the heck, over? What is this? What in the goofy metric bolt? We got threads here, shaft, more threads. Good enough for mock up. We'll pop, lock, and drop it. And we'll pick that up and do a little pop, lock, and prop it. Oh. Get our hood propped. And before we put all that weight on, look, we can easily center that up. And we ain't got to fight it.
Beautiful. Straighten our wheels back up. Oh, that sounded scary. Yeah, it's all right. It'll hold or it won't. And what's our spacing looking like now? It's interesting. I wonder why they put that shock in there at an angle. Y'all see that? See how it leans? I wonder if they do that from the factory, or if that's because these aftermarket arms, if maybe they have that back. We should, we could very easily put a new hole back here and kind of straighten that shock straight up and down a little better. Not that it really matters too much. Oh, guys, we got plenty of room. What a genius idea we got going on here. All right, now that we know front to back, clearance-wise, we're gonna have plenty of room between our shock and our tie rod. Our next thing to figure out is just an idea of how do we want to mount it. We basically have two options. One, plenty of room to just run it this way. Drill a new hole underneath here wherever need be. We want to make sure that sits on this flat plate as much as possible. So right there, so the bottom of that could definitely bolt right there. It does look like we'd have clearance out here, I do believe, as far as clearing for the control arm. You know, just obviously a flat plate, but if we brace it up, we got to consider not hitting for this. The only downside to that is, y'all could probably tell from here out to here, it's a pretty good distance. I mean, I don't know if me putting my hand in there kind of helps show you the length there, about a finger's length worth. So our other option could be to add some plate off of this. Of course, it would need brace somehow as well. And then, well, there is a bar right underneath there, so we could half plate out that way with some type of gusset underneath it or something, and scoot that closer back to our frame back there, and then we don't have to hang off the chassis so far. I'm not sure which one I'm leaning towards. Man, you showed up perfect time. I need you to look at that and let me know which one you're leaning towards. Guys, for being shop manager, he don't help or manage as much as you'd think he does. Uh-oh, we got the fitty. Slick fitty and someone else. Halt, who goes there?
How are you, sir?
Mr. Pringle?
Got him.
All right, well, me, Slick, and David, we're about to roll 3 deep in Old Roy. Got to run to town and back real quick, take care of a couple things. But guys, that's looking great. I thought we were gonna have to relocate the shock, so the fact we don't, we're already out ahead. Another Old Roy outing successful. 3 men rode Old Roy. You gotta give a little more context to that. Yeah. Or you end up with allegations. We got some more frame horns going on here for the old Slick Fitty, so he come to use old plasma cutter. Got a little plasma cutting training going on over there. What do you think about that, buddy? Hey, where you been? I done caught you red-pawed. Theo forgets he wears a white glove that just tells on him every time he's been somewhere. He's like, I ain't been nowhere. That's not what your dirty paws say. So I want to make sure we get everything as good as possible. And I think we may go for a lane on our mounting system. That way we can keep it out here and then get us closer back there. But I'm also thinking we may drill a new hole for this. One, it will straighten it up. In theory, that's going to prolong our bushing life. But to-hoo, if we could slide that back, then we could almost take that back, and we may be able to fit a sway bar in here, possibly. See what I mean? Shock edge ends up back here. Bag comes over. Sway bar inlet goes back on, maybe. Then we'd have the best of all the worlds. I'm going to do what any wise fabricator would do. I'm going to eagle eye that where we need to go. Yeah. Shoo! Can't even wiggle that baby out of there. Y'all sure are noisy. There's a pro tip for you. 9 out of 10 times if a bolt won't wiggle out, she'll thread out. Look at this. What in the mismatched shocks? What y'all think about that, huh? Made in USA, made in China. Exact same part number. I tell you what, ain't the damn same. Paint color code they use. This one's Caterpillar yellow and that one's Big Bird yellow.
That right there is the size of the hole we need. 15/16. So we'll go 1 inch. I got a 1 inch hole saw. Yeah, she'll have a little slop, but that'll be just fine for a shock bushing. I'm trying to hit the center of that so we can measure from that back edge. And actually, let's go from that weld, 1 1/4 inches. So that's so we know how to match it to the other side if this works. That stuff's 1/4 inch thick, guys. They've got it just plumb beefed up. That's a little bit of an overkill just for a shock mount. I mean, I know she's 1 ton, but dang. The pilot hole action, and we're gonna get a little bit of looby-dooby on her. She sound like a dang hammer drill. Y'all hear that? I'm challenging y'all to a noise off. Sound like I got a jackhammer over here. Well, that's weird. That first piece of plate got out of there, now it's quiet. Don't make no sense. Success! We're through. Yeah. I'll face our bolt that away where we got clearance out here for our bag. Hey yo, Eagle Eye was good. Look how that shock's a lot more straight up and down. We got right at a 1/4 inch. Right there, clearance, which is plenty. Oh, and look, we're actually facing back. We're actually not even centered up to our hole. Now we are. Oh yeah, now we're 1/4 inch to 5/16 clearance, even better. So that looks a lot happier. However, it still don't look like we're gonna have quite enough room to be able to slide back, clearance shot, and have room right here. Only way we pick this spot back up is if we hang that once again off the rear and kind of slid back. All right, they're good to go. Let's throw our sway bar back on. And I don't have the sway bar end links, but we can at least get that up into position. And it's probably the biggest part. The eyelet here is your biggest part of it anyhow. So if that'll clear, in theory, the end links should clear. But what do I know? I've been making this up as we go. This is tricky. I think we gotta go up and over the tie rod. But there's a cross member you gotta go over as well. And I can't get this side over there at the same time. Maybe, just maybe, if we jack her up a here. Oh yeah, that's what she needed. We want to keep our side to side good. And yeah, that's right where it was. Shoot, we get better shock angle, torsion bars, helper bags, and we get to keep a sway bar possibly. I can't think of any other possible accessories we could add to the front suspension with all that. And right here I got my torsion bar coil spring air over hydraulic front suspension with a sway bar, anti-roll bar, anti-sway roll bar with double king coil over shocks with the air shock and a helper bag shock. Yeah, that would be more vertical like so. Y'all see that? Looks to me like we could clear. Looks to me like as long as we hang the mount off the rear, we can maintain a factory sway bar too. But Puddin', you can't hang it that far back because of geometry, ratios, heavy weights, air PSIs. It won't work. Oh yeah, except from the factory, they put all the spring weight right back there at that pivot point because of that torsion bar. And these are just helpers, so it ain't that crucial. Let's not really overthink it here. All right, so the goal is to figure out how to build a mount to hang that off the back. Upper mount just got a whole lot easier because it's going to be right up by the frame now. And let's get some air because I don't want to lay in all them metal shavings. Hey, I see you right in that tree. You're not sneaky, and you're irritating me, all right? Right now, I'm right here. As soon as you get me to there, it's going to be fights on. Oh, called in a little crow pal for some assistance, huh? Damn birds. I wish I could take this leaf blower through that tree line and blow every stinking bird out of it. Wonder if Bill still has dynamite from his desert days. We can blow every stinking bird out of that tree line then. So underneath here, that's gonna be the tricky part. See where our bolt needs to go? And then you see where that piece of solid stock is off that control arm. So obviously we'll have to keep it in a way where we can get a bolt from underneath here and be able to start. We can't let that hold us up. So it looks like we could just trace that base plate. And then from the edge, we need to come over 2 3/8. I don't know, that may be 2.5. Yeah, we better go 2.5. Live a little. We could cut plate there. That hangs out that way. And then we'll need to reinforce it underneath here somehow. We can either do that with turning a little strip vertical down to this bar. We could possibly just bring something across that whole thing. That'd kind of look goofy. Why don't we kind of get us a piece cut or figured out, and then we can go from there. Did you see that thing try to take out my toe? All right, we're gonna go with some 1/4 inch thick stuff. Let's see if we can figure this out. My brain ain't working the greatest today. Over there I'd said we'd go 2.5. Lay out 2.5er. Then we just bring this and we touch it to that edge and then roll it till it hits that edge. I think what that means for us is we then trace that, and then we bring our, are y'all even watching, paying attention? I'm just talking out loud for nothing, huh? Then we bring our straight edge right here, and that little doohick right there would create our, what we're after. Except this ain't the straightest edge I've ever seen, because I'd cut that by hand. We'll come down here, give us a straight line. Then we'll do a repeat process once again. And I'm actually going to go out a little further, just in case. 2 9/16. Never a bad idea. Because like on that, we kind of guessed our measurement. We can always add more, guys. Or we can always, it's easier to take away more. That's what I was trying to say. Instead of adding more. Let's be honest. No one's ever going to do the same setup anyhow. We like that. We'll do a little repeat process on some cardboard here. Just so we got a piece to always match that up to as we go to grind it down. And a part box is perfect. Parts box are perfect cardboard template material, guys. I laid out our thing again, just where I've got one to mark out as we go to grind her up, try to make her purty. A lot cleaner.
Yeah, I see that. That's all
Golly, guys, I couldn't get a good cut to save my life. Look at these things. Cutting at an angle. I wasn't even at an angle. So I was like, oh, maybe I did bad. I cut it again. That one did even worse. Looks like a beaver did it. Tip of the plasma was plumb ate up, so change that out. That's a little better, ain't it? There you go. That's a little more what we were after right there. Leave us a little bit we can clean up. I cut that first one and I started questioning everything I've ever did in my life, Bill. I was like, dang, I know it's been a while, but I ain't that bad, am I? So I was like, well, you know, sometimes you got to warm up. Let me cut another. And then that second one fell and I was like, all right.
Something's up.
Yeah. Time to blame equipment, because I ain't that damn
That
bad.
looks like oxygen acetylene right there.
Oxygen acetylene looks better than that. Apparently it's a good day for some maintenance, guys. I could already cut these out with a cutoff wheel and use our flap attack and had them cleaned up. And I try to use the equipment that's supposed to make it faster, and all we gotta do is work on stuff. A fresh flap attack's faster than a worn out belt disc sander thingy-mabobber. Try again. Oh yeah, now she's cooking and doing a clean job right there. That's what we like to see. We better check her shape though. Ooh, only problem now is she's a little too hot to touch. Boy, that cleaned her up pretty. Still better than them first two, Bill.
A lot.
That took longer than expected, but we're rocking and rolling now. She's only 69 in here, but it's crazy how cool this one got because this one went a lot faster. Thought it was still gonna be warm, but nope. All right, up next, we gotta figure out how to mark center. Now there's a few ways to do this. This will probably be the quickest and the easiest. Grab us just a scrap piece of the poster board. I'm gonna shove on it onto our edges. It's got a marker and a nice circle for us. And we'll do the same thing. Gotta find that hole right in the middle. Push on it. Perfect pattern. What's that, you asked? What other accessories I got hid up in here? That's right. You want to check her, see if we got a good hole? Flashlight. What's that? You need to blow your nose? Got one of these right here. Good for blowing your nose, wiping your hands. What's that? You got something on your face? You open that up to that little bit of snot. That makes her just wet enough to get that old grease and dirt to break down. Always a good accessory to have up front, okay? So as long as we kind of rotate that around and get it matching up to this edge where we're happy, like that, makes her pretty symmetrical right there, don't it? Meaning what's left right there matches pretty close to what's left right there. So if we're happy with that, that's where we need to mark it. Then I'm gonna mark that right in the center. I'm gonna offset this way just a hair. That way the edge of that bag wants to go that way, just that hair. It makes sense if you don't think about it. Drill you a 3/8 hole. That's what we're after. Man, that one's cooled off too. It's been a little crunchy lately. I think it says oil daily. We oil about semi-annually. Oh yeah, she's tuned up like a NASCAR pit stop. Now, everything on this is eventually gonna come apart, get blasted, get painted. But the bottom side of this plate's really rusty. And we got a little bit of burrs there from drilling, so let's just clean her up. Oh, rust down there is thick. That right there's like a fine polished surface. That right there's like 60 grit. Beautiful. Her threaded, see how we did? Woo! Hoo-hoo! Just about flush. That bag favors a hair that side of the metal, which is why I wanted to offset it that way just a little bit. And if we set that there, the question then becomes, will that come in and out of there? And it looked like it was going to. And we could add a little notch, a little divot right there if we absolutely had to. Oh, that's beautiful, guys. I ain't got enough arms to show you, but watch it here at that gap as I push that till that sits flat right there. See that little gap up there? Perfect amount. So then on this side, we want to kind of split our differences and kind of like right in there. We don't want to get, boom, hitting that shot. Keep about that 5/16 clearance, probably right in there. Leaves us a little more room for up in here. Let's go for about a 3/8 gap. Right there is a good spot. And give us a little white mark right there where we know. Kind of big old drop of paint. How's that? Now it's cool we got all this room. And even though it's kind of, the arms just mocked up because of the torsion bar, it would not be fun to constantly pull this on and off, even though we know where it needs to go now. So we're gonna do whatever prep work we can on here. Probably hard to see, but I did put a little bit of a bevel on that. We won't get too carried away on our bevel on the control arm side. We can add a little bit more of a bevel on our other plate side. But I do want a little bit of a bevel. Because when we do our breakdown, the paint, blah, 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 that top piece, we'll probably TIG weld that up and then grind it down smooth. Because that's where our bag sits, so we can't have no weld sticking up right there. Ow, headbutt offender. For now, my hope is just we can clean up enough on the bottom and weld it enough on the bottom that we trust it. It's mocked up good. And then when we take this all apart, we'll just finish welding that thing out. So we don't have to be pulling torsion bars 10 times this go around. And good news is, last time I picked up these control arms we modified with all that extra steel, I didn't quite think they were heavy enough. So now we're getting to add a little more weight to them. See, if you start getting real technical on suspension and you start calculating weights versus the spring rate ratio, and you do like pi times the inertia bounce calculated spring rate, and then how much that recoils into a dampener device, times the circumference of your radius of your tire and everything, guys, the weight of each arm matters, and these were just a little too light. B for booty. Just plain, B's for bottom, which is kind of the same thing. Little bevel, that'll be the bottom. We'll have a little one at the top, plenty of place for weld to go. We're gonna take a piece of scrap. Hopefully some of these will go clamp this into place. So that'll hold that flat. And we can wiggle into place. Well, I kind of got it. Click that. Now that's a nice flat surface. And we hardly got any room to work with, but there's a little room. Tack it. Woo! 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 Dang, you ever moonwalk so hard you unplugged 220? That'd been a killer show right there if we would have had an arc flash to end the finale. Power goes down. I pop up or do the Michael Jackson lean in. Y'all think the show's over and then I come. Oh, we are almost at Halloween. Or Halloween just passed. Be doing the Michael Jackson. I don't remember it. All right. And do the triple P up underneath here. You gotta place it, you gotta pull it, and then you gotta pray that you're actually welding. Kinda hard to reach. Place it, pull it, pray. And oh yeah, the fourth P is you gotta pull away, because as that slag hits the ground and rolls over and starts burning you, you gotta pull out. Clamps out of the way. Here goes moment of truth. Dun dun dun. Oh, perfect, guys. Just clears that sucker. I mean, couldn't be any better. Great spot. So obviously we can burn that in underneath there a good inch or so, and we'll be able to weld it on top, but we still want some support out here somehow. Some real accurate stuff here. 2 1/4. I got some 1 inch wide, 1/4 inch thick strap, and I think we're gonna try to cut it 2 1/4. We're gonna add a little radius, and then we're gonna kind of bend it. Maybe we can just do 2 supports like that. And I actually went 2 3/8 with our theory again that we can take off easier than we can add on. That back bar's round, so we're gonna end up having to add some type of something to it. A little notch back there so it can tuck cleaner. Use our template from earlier to radius that. To make sure these are matching, we'll want to build all 4 at once. However, before we get too carried away, why don't we look at one, make sure we think it'll work for us. So the plan will be to come, I don't know, right out there, maybe right there. Like I said, we'll probably put a little notch in this where that can slide back a little more. And then we're going to find a way to round it some. I think that'll work. Little deburr and clean up on the wire wheel. If your fingers are getting too dirty, you can accidentally bury one into that wire wheel. Clean it right up good for you. Ow! Yeah, that one hurt. Got us 2 more cleaned up though. Now we're ready to start whooping this into shape. And luckily we got our other plate right here we can use to kind of figure this out. All right there's where we need to start bending. We're going to try some really advanced techniques. We're going to move to a line, smack her a good 3 times. Move. It's the old smack and move.
Woohoo! I don't know why I just sounded like an owl. Actually, that would not be bad because it give us a little area we could actually put a bead. Because if we go flush, we ain't gonna have a place for a bead. Or we can match the outside edge, or then we could bead it underneath there and be able to put a bead out there. Dang, look how well that matches actually. Just gonna have to keep working her into place. Tap by tap, guys. You don't want to get too carried away right here. Check that out. That's a pretty good fit right there. Nice little consistent shape to it. Uh-oh. Trouble's here. Shoo! She close. Whoop! There she is. Just be sure to bend it the correct way or you'll have two of the same side. In theory, if those will fit this one, they should fit over here too. Hopefully. Oh yeah, that looks like a fit to me.
Just wanted to verify. Now let's go add a little notch on these, just kind of right there in the middle. Don't need a lot, just a little.
Let's see if this thing likes 120 volts better than it does a Bluetooth connection. The precision, the accuracy. Squeeze. Let's get that airbag out of there so we ain't burning it up. Hot. These suckers are still hot. Yeah. That's weird. It didn't magically cool itself off, and that hand without a glove couldn't take it. We could crawl out and cool them off with air, but we've come too far. Oh, great. Burnt fingers it is. All right, things start tack up in there. It does look like we need to take the corner of that notch off the top, or that can slide back a little further and fit up better. Be right back. I'm back. Oh yeah, cooled her off too. Just a quick tack. Kind of get her held in place there. Hey, I like that. There we go. Now I got 3 good tacks on that. That'll weld all really, really nice. Woo, fit up's looking good over here. Yeah, swing and a miss there. Just had her drop down a hair too low. No big deal. Just break her off and try again. There we go. All right, there's the fit I'm after. I know it's hard for y'all to see me getting that there, but they're all in place now. Looks good. Beautiful fit up and should weld up quite nice. See that? My eyebrows quit working. I was gonna hit you with but they 2 and done. It was like, hey, to be fair, you'll see all this extra fat up here. Those things are lifting a lot of weight, okay? So 1, 2, and they deserve a break sometimes. Why y'all think I'm always doing that? I'm trying to lose a couple pounds right here. Y'all think I'm dangerous fabricating now? Just imagine if I could actually see. Shoot, be a game changer. Puddin was 35 when he had to have his first eyebrow lift. I'll be 35 next year. These things put another ½ pound on by then, and I may have to have one done. I'll be looking surprised all the time. Measure out our other side. I measured off that bag edge, the leading edge, and 8 3/16. Oh crikey, gotta crawl down under. Yeah. Oh, hold on. Now that mark right there is a mark we use to extend these control arms on both sides. So I know that's good to be true, or good and accurate. So I measured from that edge over to that mark, keeping that in line. 1 1/16. Now we got our line over here, so I put us a fresh mark up there. Line our marks up. Clamp it. And just for fun, I'm gonna check it referenced off something. Got this side all tacked up. There was a fight. Weird, I didn't get any skinnier between over there and over here. From the center of this hole, 1 1/4. Here she comes, Johnny. Now, some of you may have a good eye, and you may have noticed that the other side had a sway bar inlay. Slip that one in on you. Well, that's because when they showed up in boxes this big, I thought surely they were the wrong ones. You know, heaven forbid with some of this stuff, they just make it in a black rubber that looks nice. We gotta have damn Honda Performance blue. Bushing, washer. Bushing, washer. Sleeve, washer, bushing, hole. And she's fancy. She's modern enough to have the sleeve, washer, bushing combo kit down low. And that actually sticks up through that hole down there. And obviously we could tighten that up. I don't care enough to. Uh-oh. You'll see what I see? Looks like we're rubbing on this side. That ain't good. We know our thing's in the exact same position. So I bet our sway bar is shoved over that away. So this piece probably needs to come this way. And I'd put it back to where it was. It appeared, so I thought we were pretty good on that. That don't look good. And the bad news may be that as we this way, then that one over there may get where it's wanting to rub. Find that sweet spot. I'll go ahead and start our airbag anyhow. And let's get a hammer and try giving her some love taps this way. If measuring don't fix it, then maybe hammering it will. Oh, she moved. Dang, still not enough to clear over here. Well, that actually needs to go back. It'll lean back here like that. So yeah, we are clearing. And that corner of that eyelet right there that's kind of sharp, we could smooth that up too. It may be too far this way now though. Yeah, I gotta lean this one to touch the chassis over there to have any clearance. But that being said, one of these sides is sitting slightly lower than the other side. And again, none of that bothers me. Suspension's easily tunable with those bolts for the torsion bars. Just need to get it on some level concrete, actual ride height, and we can mess with that all later. But the reason that matters is that's our difference in this side over here. I've got to push that back, and that side over there is hitting. So that side's probably lower because it's up further and sucking the airbag back towards the chassis, where this side's a little further away. And no big deal. Just a little tap back that way. And that's a pretty good split in the difference. We're close to an 1/8 inch gap there now, and then around a quarter back to there. And over there we're almost rubbing, but we've got about 3/8 back to the frame so we could shove it over a little bit. I hope that makes sense. It's pretty stinking close to where it needs to be. So knowing what we know, we just got to make sure to build our upper bag mounts correctly to make sure we are clearing that. Like I said, we can pull that off there and kind of round that corner on the back side, pick up probably additional 1/8 inch of clearance, no problem. But there she is, guys. We're going to end the day right there. We got much better shock angle. We still got that sway bar, and we've got our lower mount figured out. And now it's looking like we're going to be smooth sailing to knock that upper out tomorrow. As far as me, what I'm trying to do here keeps going wrong. Getting that side, even though the stuff was already built, should have went a lot smoother than what it did. I'm just kind of hitting that where I'm out of my stride. And what I'm doing, I feel like it's getting rough. This evening, I got to help our pastor build some extending telescoping lights. Something for the church. Either way, now that my fabrication's getting shoddy, I'm going to quit working on my own stuff. I'm going to give him a call, tell him to come over. I'm ready to build him some janky light poles. Save the quality work for him. Welcome back. This morning, we are going to build our upper mounts. It's going to be very similar to our lower mounts yesterday. As in, we need to kind of copy this. Little poster board action. Little shaky hand McGee cut action. Don't say I didn't learn anything in school. I remember arts and crafts. Boy, I can cut that line. And we didn't cut off this side because we're going to need a little bit of a lip there. And I don't think much. I'm guessing 1/4 inch is what we're going to end up with. There we go. I was going to say, somewhere there's some dang holes, okay? Y'all know my patented push technique here.
That is a straight edge over there to the center of the hole. 3 11/16, 3 5/8. Dang, I eagle-eyed that within a 1/16 of each other. These are square and our one straight edge. Get us lines. I think we're gonna go ahead and cut it. Like I said, we may go 5/16. Boop. That's simple enough, huh? Looks good. Next, you want to drill your airbag. Just playing. Look at there. You see the little cleanup trick? Little Harbor Freight step bits don't discriminate. Y'all smell that? Pretty stinking good. Now, something to think about. Where does this airbag need to be? That's a great question. Guys, this is my first time ever using a sleeve bag. These things are very confusing because watch this. See that? It can push up in there super duper far. Now, obviously, if you had that on a flat piece of metal, that would be rubbing. So you could almost build like a spacer thingy that up in there maybe. But watch this. If you do that, boom! Who knew that was all tucked up in there, huh? I don't know how these things are supposed to look when they're fully inflated. I don't know if they go there and then they somehow collapse back in on themselves. I don't see how that would work. But the couple of reviews and videos I kind of looked up on these, I've seen people said your operational height of this is when it was at 8 inches. I've seen someone else said 8 1/4. So we'll just go with 8 inches. 8 to 8 1/4 ain't that big of a difference. So the question is right here, and we're at our range, and it may go down a little bit. Well, we got plenty to go down, and it may come up a little bit, but we're not trying to get 8 inches out of this bag. We're getting probably 2 inches down, possibly 2 inches up, 4 inches of travel. So right there at its very relaxed position, we're at 7 1/2. Now, why does that matter? Well, because our bottom position currently at our right height we're happy with is fixed. So it's there. So if we need this at 7 1/2, that means that needs to go up some. And that matters because that's going to help determine where this ends up. So on our frame over there, I haven't looked. I don't know if it's perfectly flat. I don't know if it's concaved. I don't know if it's got a taper or anything. But we want to get this where it needs to be right now. 7 1/2. So over there, we know we're going to have to pick up a little bit. Or maybe, because that's a taper. Hold on. Maybe, just maybe, we can help fix this to our 8-inch desired height, and then we don't have to do as much guessing. So zip tie on that side. Woo, we're close. You get another big mama on here. Equal eyes out to this side, hopefully. Hey, Ma, Puds teach us how to do airbags with zip ties. That's right, you synced it here first, folks. Oh, 8 1/2. Damn overachiever. Okay, it'll let me kind of shove down on it, though. Look. 8 1/16. We'll take that. And put our airbag back in. Now, because of our zip ties, it is causing it to lean a little bit, but that's okay. We can easily correct that. Ah, I see. So actually, if we do turn up our torsion bars and pick this up an inch or so, as this goes down, because our bag tapers as it goes down, we're actually always going to pick up more clearance there, so that's good. Now, if we got a really heavy load on it and we let all the air out and we're trying to sit down low, then we'd have to keep an eye on that because it could cause it to then get closer. Close can be close, guys, but close ain't rubbing. So it really don't matter if it's close. It only matters if it rubs, and I don't think it'll rub. Looking up here, what I tell y'all, 1/4 inch to 5/16. I'd say I guess that number pretty good. Well, I am full of uneducated guesses. So if we were to set that there, cut out a metal, bolt it down, I mean, it's going to lean over a 1/16. I think that's perfect by the looks of it. Golly, we just need that out of metal. Still can't believe how thick these mounts are. But Puddin', it's a 1-ton truck. Oh, I know. But I'll tell you, it's damn absolutely crazy that a front shock mount's thicker than a rear leaf spring mount. Tell me the math and science on that one. You'd have to call him Professor Puddini to explain it.
Don't worry about it. What do you mean, what am I doing? What are you doing? I'm happy. I was looking for 1/4-inch plate. I found this. I'm like, oh, I can get one. Found that. I'm like, oh, I could squeeze one. However, when I was looking through the little scrap cabinet, well, I do have bag mounts, but generally speaking, they're this kind of universal, you know, whatever. And that is a pretty common pattern for your airbags, okay? So if you look there, our holes are going to hit. Obviously, those are a little bigger. Those are adjustable. Whatever. Length is good. Only problem is we need that to be straight. We don't want to just touch the frame there with a tiny weld. I mean, my welding is pretty good, but we need a little more contact than that. So I'm like, oh, what else do I have here? And I'm digging around, right? Then I see these, and I'm like, well, those are lower mounts that go on bars. I like those. But then I was digging around, and I found this. Looky here. So this is a mount that's commonly used on a rear frame rail, and they'll put them on the side there. That way you get support out like that. And I just don't like the idea. The engineering in my head says that wants to wrap the frame that way. It's not that they're bad. I just, generally speaking, will never design my suspension like that because I don't have to. And actually, that's a terrible example because I did it similar on my truck and my Datsun. I guess more or less, I don't like how these look. And mine's usually at an angle that these don't really work with, I guess. I don't know. I'm making this up as we go. I thought I had other mounts I could show you, but I can't find them. These, since I'll never actually use them for their intended purpose, are perfect. Because one, that's a smaller radius where our other one was bigger. This actually matches this. Not that that matters. I just think it's going to look a little better. And looky there, guys. We can cut that out. We're going to need some supports over there, so we may be even able to trim these down somehow. We'll see. But I think this is great for y'all because y'all know I've got 1/4-inch plate. I've got more outside. I've got little scrap pieces. I've got 1/4-inch plate. But let's talk about you. What do you have sitting around? If you don't have 1/4-inch plate and you don't have a plasma, you can still cut it with a grinder and stuff. But if you'll look online for like universal upper bag mounts, you can get a front mount that's usually a plate very similar to this with 2 little triangle pieces cut already. Pretty affordable. Then you're not drilling holes. You're not hole-sawing the bigger hole. You're not slicing, dicing. You're not doing all that stuff by hand. You still got to fabricate, guys. It's universal. So you still got to make it work to yours. So you're still doing it. But I think it's a better way for you to go. Y'all know I keep those for a reason because there's no... If time's money and you spend a day trying to cut out a bunch of these, then all of a sudden buying a pair of these for like 15 or 20 bucks and not having to buy a bunch of 1/4-inch plate, blah, blah, blah. I'm just trying to show you, you've got options. I think making stuff work like this for our needs is a great option. We built the lower ones out of raw plate steel. Now we're gonna build these uppers out of this using these brackets I never thought I'd consume. Perfect for this situation. So I'm gonna just eagle eye all of that where everything's nice and symmetrical. And since we know the distance we need, we can just trace this onto here now on the bottom side. I know what you're thinking. Oh, that means you did all this for nothing. No, it don't, because we were still able to figure out that the distance we calculated for was perfect over there. And now we can use that same speed square, basically our same technique here, and mark this movie out. Look at all this time we're saving. Boy, I'm bass backwards, ain't I? 2 1/16. So we want to go to 1 3/4. So this radius is actually slightly smaller than our airbag. So that's why we're gonna have a little jog there. So I just ground down to our line and then just kind of rounded it right there. It'll leave a little jog, but it's nice and symmetrical. Exactly what we need. Now I told you a little stubby wubby makes a great little deburr tool, especially if like a belt sander, you get that little sharp edge. Takes that sharp edge right off. Oh yeah, baby. Looky there. Looks awesome. Match up our edges right there. Perfect. Kill. Boom. There's 2 of them. Even the 1-inch 3/8 ones I had, I actually used last night on those lights we built. Dang it. I think someone heard me get my stuff off the toolbox. You wanna go for a ride? No? Come on. And then figure I'd have to twist your arm too bad to get you to go with me, pal. Success! Got a box full of hardware. Now she is a heavy duty unit, so Theodore recommended we go for grade 8 at least for our bag bolts. And he's very wise at this stuff, guys. He's had his paws in a ton of builds. Actually, the truth is that's all they had for a 3/8 by 3/4. Eagle eye, exactly where you want it. That's perfect. Dang, it's getting chilly out. Oh, wind must have blown in. Look, got the Loadstar wet. Got our lower bolt just started. We're not going fully installed. That touches our frame over there perfect. Now I just got to kind of work our side to side, so to speak. I like right there. That creates our about 3/16 gap. Visually, it looks straight up and down. And real quick, we just want to verify. All right, we're 7 7/8, so we'll end up coming up just a hair. Cleaned our frame up, picked our airbag up, so we're reading 8 inches now. Gap's good. You know, I was gonna mark this and then hold the plate there and tack it, but against my better judgment, I am gonna just push that up against that frame, and we are about to tack it with it on the truck. Now don't worry, I'm protecting it. That right there is gonna keep slag from going inside the airbag, see? That rubber over here, meh, don't worry about it. 8 inches, perfect. It looks great. Get some reference measurements for the next side. Off our front mount back, 1 inch and 15/16. And from that plate to the bottom of that bracket, 1.5 inches, perfect. Ooh, that wind's blowing in, folks. Going live. Hot tack, hot tack. Everything's looking great. Now we just got to figure out how we want to do the gussets. And we got a couple curveballs going on here, okay? So be careful. One, I try to sneak this up in there, and it don't really look like there's a way to use it that really makes sense. I mean, we could kind of cutting it down this way and that way, and it'd have an extra brake on it. Overly complicated, not really necessary. So our scrap cabinet in there, I got to looking through stuff and I found this. I don't even know what these are from, but I obviously had cut them off something. And I got a pair of them. But y'all see what I see? That looks like a possible gusset, don't it? We're gonna take that. These brackets here could be really useful for stuff. Looks like we could build some type of mount or something out of them if need be. So we don't want to just cut that to try it. But we can very easily trace that shape and go try this. And I don't know if y'all can see, but the frame kind of divots in right there. So that's one curveball we've got to be aware of. See, that ain't gonna have good contact surface. So then we'd have to grind away at it, and it's gonna end up even further over there. The other thing we gotta look at is this bolt, because that has to come this way. So anything we gusset right here, we probably need to put a hole in where that could pass through. In fact, we may have to remove that bolt just to make sure we can still get it out of there. I'll be honest, I think it's 50-50 if that bolt comes out. If it does come out, I think it's gonna be right there at it. Now we've got a load on our suspension, so it's not like I can just pull that bolt. 0.30. So what I'm gonna do is match this side with just 2 tacks as well. 2 tacks is easy to take off change. But if we're gonna strip off the front suspension, we might as well get this one in place too. Hopefully, fingers crossed, the bolt comes out of there. Once it's off, we can weld up the lower control arms. We'll have all the crap out of the way where we can then figure out how to brace the uppers. And if it don't work, we're gonna have to redo all this. So I got us some reference measurements from the other side marked out. Got us 1 tack started.
Now I'm gonna have to pry it. Make sure we hit that .30. Perfect. Boom! Now we're the same distance back, the same distance up and down, the same angle left to right. And then once we have everything pulled off there, we can check our angle as far as it up and down to make sure those match, and then they'll be perfect. Right now we got 2.10 and 1.20. Give one little tap down, one little tap up, she'll be all right. Boy, that wind's huffing it. And speaking of wind, if y'all don't watch my second channel, well, you probably didn't know we got a windmill. This thing was built in the early 30s, and it is getting after it. And 98% of the parts on here are old, 100 years old, except for some of the 3/8 bolts at the bottom. And it is functional, guys. You can see we got a well here, and we're pumping for the first time today. Now that well's fresh, so we're pumping some dirty water. That's why we call it red dirt around here, baby. Oh yeah, get you a drink of that. If you'd like to see some more details on that, you can check it out on my second channel, the video last week, guys. I was trying to work on the Mercedes, but I got distracted. Shane and Lori was here installing that thing, so I come to give them a hand. So you can see a little bit of that on my channel, and you can see the full install on their channel. And guys, there's not a lot more majestic, that's a perfect word, nothing more majestic than a 33-foot tall, 100-year-old windmill still doing its thing. Woo! She caught a good breeze. She's hooking it. I see it spinning fast. It's like, yeah, 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 and then it's like, straightening up. And we got tornadoes moving in or what? That leaf just come flying by like a flying saucer. Perfectly flat, spinning. Whoom, hovered by me. Speaking of 100 years old, getting up and down off this concrete 1,000 times will make you feel 100 years old. Took off everything we had installed, moved our jack stand underneath there, get some weight up on this. Oh yeah, she's gonna come right out. We'll probably just have to, like I said, put a hole where that bolt can travel through. We'll be fine. Zipping this suspension apart takes no time right here. Check our side to side. We are magically 0 degrees somehow. On this side we got 1.1, leaning that away. Right there we got 0.4, but it's leaning that away as well where we need it leaning that away. You want to be careful, you don't want to break that sucker. Now we got 0.3 that away, 0.9. Left tap, left tap. Woo, exactly what you needed, 0.9. They're matching. 9/16 is our thread showing. So when we go back together, we'll probably bump her up to 1/2 inch or 7/16, go a hair tighter. Don't worry though, I told you they'll continue to sag. Kind of like your old lady, just playing. Too far, always taking it too far. Well, if you're gonna hit it like a girl, hit it like a big girl. Oh, I just said I was gonna shut up. There we go, jack her up, take some of the tension off. Push the bars out. 2 bolts from our bushings and these are off, free. Now is that some pretty good fit up or what? Weld it. That's the way, I like it, laying dimes, we like it, shoo. I will say up in here is kind of hard to get to, so I'm kind of just concentrating a pass down in there to help fill some of that up, because I kind of get to like my stick out limit. So this is a 2 pass right here. Gotta do 2 pass so it don't look like no real movement on that first one, just keeping her in there, maybe a little up and down. Now we can go back and give her the business. And that's the way, we like it. Big weld, nice and thick. Loadstar, all right, sorry.
Now I know I said I was gonna TIG weld that top part, but I also said we were gonna wait to take these off, so let's just break the rules. We just wanna feel where our bevel is. Better to do it right now when everything's nice and hot from all the previous welding. Of course, we're gonna knock that old caterpillar down. Hey-yo, get our other one cleaned up. And right there are our very simple, barely modified, extended 4-inch adapted to helper bag, 4-wheel drive, lower control arms. Super simple design. Wow, that wind's whipping. Whoa, 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 whoa. Windmill's over there just a cooking it. And of course over here, we're just gonna play with some poster board. Kind of just cut a curve on that till it fit. And I cut on that till it'll kind of tuck up in there. We wanna go up in here, maybe height-wise. Run along right there, stop down here. Play a little connect the dots. So we cut us out a couple things that fit here. Got our front, back's a little different. Got our back. It's always a good sign when stuff will fit both sides. Means we're right in the exact spot we need to be. Now don't forget with that front one, we need to kind of mock that up into place and figure out where to put a hole or we're gonna be in bad shape. There's right here some very accurate guesstimations that would even make Professor Pudini proud. Don't forget, friends, clean your hole. Nobody likes a dirty hole. 2 tack, look at that. She's tacked. Wheeled her up. Woo, she's a steaming demon. She's rolling that smoke. I knocked down a cookie here where we can grab another gear. Throwing our front suspension back together, and y'all have seen me do this several times now. And y'all have seen me put the front suspension together several times. I just want to show you this, that our little hole through our mount right there does work. Other than that, it's a good thing I got my pilot's license, because we're about to fly through this anyhow. Yeah. Just a hair under 1/2 inch, which is what I set the other side to. End links and shocks are back on. She's ready for some airbags. Times must be hard in the hardware business. Looks like that bolt had to start a OF. Who knows what a bolt and nut does on OF, huh? Well, I'll tell you, sway bar end links are really close, like within 1/8 inch. I thought we were gonna have more than that. So we have to keep an eye on that, but let's get some air up in here. Just going for a little temporary test run here. Something like that, just where it's out of the way. All right, let's see if our metric T is gonna stay together with our 1/4 inch. I don't know if y'all can see it or not because it's so slow, but that truck did just pick up. And it does look like our sway bar is gonna rub. There's a ton of air in that thing. And maybe y'all can see how much it stretched out, so it did pick up. Theo can't believe it. He had to come check it out himself. Probably would have done more of a difference if I would have had this jack down the whole time. What do y'all think? That jack being lifted up explains why we were rubbing. I don't think this thing will ever lift that high. You get 100 PSI in the airbag, guys, it's like as hard as a rock, okay? about perfect. We bounce them torsion bars. It's a little harder to bounce with the shock in there. That thing's gonna ride amazing, guys, I'm telling you. Now, personally, I think it's perfect, guys. Ride height is perfect, stance, whatever you want to call it. It looks great. It feels like it's gonna ride amazing. But let's say your mom crawled up in my passenger seat. Sorry, that was rude. I have not done a your mom joke in a while. So anyhow, your mom gets in. We better air up, baby. You see what I mean? Even right there almost looks too high. I never want to have to go that high. What I want is to maintain where it's sitting at, and then we can always keep it there. So you say we get done on our date. Okay, I drop her off. We let the air back out. Can't beat it, guys. Exactly what I wanted. Just like having helpers in the rear, now we've got the helpers in the front. Big or small, we're gonna be able to haul them all. In the front or back, it won't matter. We'll give it the air attack. I'm quite happy with how all of that worked out right in there, guys. How stinking cool. And there you have it, class. As theorized, the air spring did fit in the front suspension circumferential zone. And as a result, the radial load distribution will increase dramatically. Furthermore, if we multiply thrust force, divide by lower control arm length, 3 multiply by spindle height, 3 divide by upper control arm length, and then take the square root of the torsion bar spring ratio, and we can calculate that our Loadstar is going to ride great. Precision. Once again, I'd like to thank you, class, for attending today's lecture on air springs. Do not forget that what you got to learn in 1 hour took me years of studying bullshittery to master. Thank you, class. I am Professor Pudini. Have a great day. Oh, Professor Pudini better wash his hands before he touches these nice clothes. Then I'm gonna be the dirty professor. Hold on. You wanna pass that class? All right, that's enough. Enough? Go away, Pudini. You want that good grade or not? Do not forget, sitting on your ass will not finish your project. We'll see y'all in the next one.